friends, welcome to day 10 of Inktober 2018. The prompt for this one is, I'm not interested in eyebrows anymore ever since these shells washed ashore. Now this is one of the more leading ones. I feel like this one was maybe not as open for interpretation as I assumed. But it was good because I also put myself back into my comfort zone for this one. So this was kind of really fun, and even though it maybe doesn't look simple, this felt very simple for me because I was, drawing in a style that I felt comfortable with. I had some really great happy accidents that I didn't mean to happen, specifically the face shading. That was literally just a fluke, so please don't think that there was any skill involved in that. I just kind of had fun illustrating in a way that felt very natural to me, and also having a prompt that I didn't have to think too outside the box for. It was a really nice departure from outside my box back into it, if that makes any sense at all. So I hope you enjoy watching this come together. I had a really fantastic day today. Stella, my good Judy Stella, was over. It is actually 5 o'clock in the afternoon on the 10th, so this is a lot later than I expected to get any of these videos out. Still technically the 10th though, so I'm happy about that. And I did put it on Instagram earlier, so I know people know that I finished, but there's still that stress. Oh, hey Oliver. There's still that stress that I feel like people think, oh, he failed. Not that it would matter, because obviously I know, but it kind of does matter a little bit. If you put yourself out there, you gotta be careful. Anyway, so I've been doing playtest Patreon happy mailer boxes. I had an appointment to go to at 1 o'clock too, so I was kind of in and out from the morning, and then out in the afternoon, then back in the afternoon. And Stella's been over, and we've been packing all of these happy mailer boxes for the very last part of playtest Patreon. This was the final thing I had to do and send out the September happy mailers. Each month, if you're not aware, each month the happy mailer box got shipped early the next month. So for everyone in September, they're expecting their boxes early October. Now, each month there was something different that happened. Completely unforeseen and completely out of my control, thank goodness, but that didn't stop me from having full-on meltdowns about it. Either way, I'll talk about that in the recap. The only reason I'm going into this is because that was the final piece of work that I had today, and they will all ship out tomorrow morning, so I'm super excited about that. I'm going to celebrate tonight anyway. I'm going to get fully excited and just, throw a party for myself in here. Just because it's truly finished now. That was the last bit of work that I had to do for Playtest Patreon. Now I've just got to recap it and review it all in a video, and I'm probably going to keep that a little bit more diplomatic as far as pros, cons, what I liked, what I didn't like, the end. But the question I got in Facebook, and I thought was kind of relevant to talk about since this was the last work I had to do, was how do you feel now that Playtest Patreon is finished or complete? And so that's what I'm going to talk about today as you watch Daisy come to life. And I think I kind of went a little bit more personal about this in Patreon towards the end, in a bit of the blog post writing and in a bit of the podcast that I did, kind of going into my emotional journey that I had through Playtest Patreon. Obviously, nothing we do is completely separated from the life that we live. And so I gave myself an incredible amount of work to do at the same time as still trying to live a life. And I didn't give myself any grace or any room, wiggle room for mistakes to happen. And even when I thought I did, it was probably not enough. I could have done better about really being a little less risky about some things. But at the end of the day, it all happened. Deadlines were hit. Everything that was promised to be done was promised to be done. And it was all, you know what I mean? It all worked. It was kind of fine. It was an incredible amount of stress to sit in for a few months. But I also knew at the same time, it was only 3 months. And then I'd be into Inktober, Whimsyween, and then I'd be on holiday. So it was this 3-4 month stretch of working at max capacity that I thought, I'm down for that challenge. I'm excited to see what will happen. I know there's going to be struggles. Let's see what happens when I go there. Because I thought ultimately at the end of this, what if I grew into something better? That's a good thing, right? I'm going to have to choose to challenge myself because I'm not, I'm my own boss. If there's no higher up setting me a task or setting me a goal or stretching me, who's doing that? No one is. It's up to me to do that. And I don't feel good about not moving forward. I don't feel good about being stagnant. I always want to be learning something or trying something new because that gives me a sense of satisfaction. But the whole thing started because I was questioned so many times about Patreon. Will you do it? When are you going to do it? Have you thought about doing it? What do you think about it? And then I got asked this question once, could you even do it? And it just put a really, a severe drive in me to prove that I could. And not just to the person that asked the question, although it is great now having done it. Yes, I did. Thank you. But also to myself, because I ran my big old mouth last year about Patreon and really letting everyone know my feelings and thoughts about it. And there are a lot of things I said in that actually still hold up for me now. They're still the opinions that I have now. And there are some other things that I possibly didn't think about beforehand that maybe my opinions have changed on that. So I'll get into that in that recap video, but I think this question more struck a bit of a personal chord with me. What are your feelings now that it's over? My personal feelings are, I've just breathed, I exhaled for a second. I felt like I breathed a sigh of relief. And I think that just comes from being so overwhelmed for many, many months about it and doing it and in it, that now that it's done and I can do, Inktober doesn't seem like half the amount of work that Playtest Patreon was. It's not varied content. I get a real rhythm and structure going with the editing. I have, I've made them 15-minute videos. I think that's a reasonable amount of time for people that want something a little longer but don't want it too long. In Patreon, I honestly, especially joining the Patreons that I did in the last month, it gave me a real understanding as to how much is on offer for patrons. And I had a lot of patrons that were pledged to multiple platforms at once, and you can't help but compare. I know people say they don't. I know people say that it's not right to, and to be honest, it's your money, so do whatever you want with it. If you want to compare, there's nothing wrong about you being discerning with your money, but I definitely felt a sense of pressure to always be offering more or better or longer or bigger or more outrageous and crazier, and setting a precedent like that is extremely difficult to keep up with long term. So I knew, having it be 3 months, I would just do whatever I could do until it was done. And as far as me saying before, you're living a personal life at the same time, I feel like I sacrificed a lot of that to be working so hard. And that is in my nature. I do like to work very hard. I like to do a lot and achieve a lot. I don't know why. I seem to be driven by that. But it was one of those things that I was also really scared that I might get sick, or that something might happen and affect my ability to even produce content, or say my recording equipment failed, or I filled up a hard drive and I couldn't get one in time to get a video out. The deadlines were making me feel crazy. And that was something that I set for myself. I could unset it for myself, but I didn't, because I wanted to honor what people signed up for. It would have made me feel terrible if I just changed it on people midway through. And there was such a big, heavy stress associated with, the top level tier doing the subscription box each month. I don't know where I got off thinking I could be a one-person subscription box service. Honestly, I knew that I'd done it all in part. I've designed a washi tape, I've designed stamp sets, I've designed these die cut packs before, I've done these things, and I was designing new things, but I've been through the design process. I understand the kind of things that it takes and the energy and the effort that it takes and all the back end of it. But I have never done that much all at once. So I don't even think I really thought that through. I've spent weeks designing one washi tape before, and that might seem like nothing to some people. I don't know. I don't know what the regular washi tape design process is, but I can do it in weeks. I could probably do it in a day if I needed to. Some of them take less time than others. But as far as doing it all together, designing a stamp set, as well as a sticker pack, as well as postcard prints, as well as a tote bag, as well as, die cut packs, as well as washi tapes, doing all of that. And I was doing 2 videos a week, and I was doing a blog post a fortnight, and a podcast a fortnight, and digital downloads every month. It was a lot. But I felt like I had to put that much out there, because you wouldn't even be competitive in that market if you didn't offer it, that amount. I saw the other rewards tiers before I even joined other Patreons, and rewards tiers are public. You can see that before you join. So in all my market research, I had a look at all of that stuff, and it just seemed like that was the going rate for Patreon. And not that I had a problem with it. I really did enjoy giving that content. It was a stretch for me. It was very challenging, but I think it produced some really great different ideas, and also gave me a really good insight into more of the teaching aspect of different tutorials. I really appreciated that too. And more so like the top level tiers, even though subscription boxes were crazy to put together, it also was the investment capital that I needed to fund the products that would then go to Etsy as well. So it was great for business, but the feeling of it was so overwhelmingly stressful. And at no point, as much as I wanted to like kick and scream sometimes and just say like, oh, this is too much, like I can't do anything, I just, you know what I mean, like I would just have to grin and bear it. I chose to do it. No one's gonna feel sorry for you. Like I wouldn't feel sorry if someone chose to do that, and if someone was, you know, doing it as a business interest, and if that was their full-time job. Like, let's not kid ourselves here. My full-time job is creating content. So if I'm gonna whinge about creating content, why am I doing this? Like, there's got to be more than just it's a business and I have to do it. No one has to be on YouTube. No one has to be on Patreon. No one has to be on Instagram. If you're doing it for a business, then at least you respect what the business aspect of that transaction might be. And so, you know, there were definitely different days where I would have to pull different motivations, and I always kept true to the mission statement that I have, and really tried to bring it all the way back down to that whenever my brain was completely scattered about something, or I was completely off about my thoughts and opinions on the way something was going, or the way an issue might have come about. And you know, it was super challenging, I'm not gonna lie, but I feel really, really great. I feel really accomplished. I feel like it was a really great thing to boost my confidence in the platform, and to also just be reassured that, you know, there are people out there that value content beyond free content, because I'm also planning on doing online courses, and so this is like a dip the toes in the water kind of moment for that as well. Like, you know, the reason I took on Patreon was the reason I took it on, but everything else I could learn and gain from the experience I wanted to get as well. And so it was a really great kind of hunting and gathering process for all my thoughts about certain things. And, you know, I hadn't written anything since I left high school, so that was fun to do a blog post. I'm going to kind of miss the blog post, not going to lie. I don't know, maybe I'll just have to go and start a blog. Probably not going to do it. Why would I put that out there? Too much work, not enough time. But no, I think that was the overriding theme. It was just a lot of work, and so it was high stress, high tension for a lot of it. But it was super worth it. It was very rewarding for a lot of different reasons, and I'll go into those in the video. But my actual personal feelings were that, you know, having just finished the last boxes, because that was still a stress in the back of my head as well, still not knowing if the washi tapes would turn up in a timely manner, or if I would have another issue with shipping, or, you know, like whatever those problems could have been. Now that they're all packed up and ready to go to the post office, I've just like, I feel like a weight has been lifted off my shoulders, and I'm finally ready to relax a little bit, because I honestly, I haven't felt relaxed in months. And even now, even though I'm doing a lot of work for Whimsy Ween and Inktober, it is so fun. It's kind of like really self-indulgent. There's no one's paying for any of that content, so it feels like, you know what I mean? Like, there's no, you couldn't really have an expectation. You might feel like you want to see something or do something a certain way, but it's just for me to be able to do whatever I would like. There's no, I'm not answerable to anyone at this point, and that is a sense of relief in itself. So even though I feel really great about everything, and even though that, you know, I have a lot of thoughts and opinions as to how it all went, and I'll share that soon, I think I want to say thank you again to everyone that joined that experience, and please don't think that I was just waiting for it to end. I really, really had a great time on it. It was just a lot of work, and so now I am just enjoying the kind of rest that I get afterwards, and perhaps maybe give myself like a couple of days off, and who knows? I have a holiday coming, so I can just wait for that. But yeah, I feel very, very happy about it all. Even the parts that didn't go so well, I feel very happy about it, because it's all done. It's all tied up. It was achieved. I checked it off my checkbox, and I'm excited to see what happens next. So until tomorrow, thanks for watching. Bye.